If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you.
Shannon needs to have some accountability because he gave them something to shake down. He gave them something to target by making poor choices. Busby and this young woman got audio, video, and text messages. If you know all of those things are out there, you should shut the F up. I'm not here to speak to Shannon's guilt or innocence because I don't know, but I do know attempting to settle looks like an admission of guilt because I'm not settling.
All right, let's dive headfirst into the swirling storm hitting one of the biggest names in sports commentary. This isn't just about headlines, it's about a multi-million-dollar legal war kicking off. You're tuned into StarLush, and folks, we're about to peel back the layers on a scandal that could shatter a Hall of Fame career and rewrite the rules for celebrity endorsement in the digital age. This thing exploded without warning, starting with courtroom papers dropping like a bomb, accusing sports legend Shannon Sharpe of misconduct so serious the person suing him wants a staggering $50 million. $50 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's a figure designed not just to compensate, but to send shockwaves, to terrify insurers, to grab every single headline, and to announce that this fight is deadly serious. This isn't some quiet arbitration. This is a full-blown legal firestorm aimed squarely at a man who built his colossal brand on being unapologetically real.
I know one thing. If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday.
Think about Shannon Sharpe's journey, from the dirt roads of Georgia to NFL immortality, then to media superstardom. His story is the American dream personified: grit, authenticity, unafraid to speak his mind. That raw honesty, that gridiron gravitas became rocket fuel for his career, especially on platforms like YouTube. It drew in millions, built an empire. But here's the brutal irony. That very authenticity, that willingness to be loud and opinionated, might just be the thing that painted a giant neon target on his back. Because the higher you fly, the harder the fall, and the quicker the critics mobilize when even a hint of vulnerability or scandal appears.
Because it's true. Sit your old down and go find somebody your age and build a family with them. As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need discipline.
The formal complaint hit a Nevada civil court just hours before the news broke, officially marking the start of this potentially devastating legal battle. The plaintiff's document lays out claims that go right for the jugular, alleging not just financial damage, but deep reputational harm and severe emotional turmoil. They're saying the alleged misconduct didn't just cause problems, it inflicted wounds that cost this person sponsorships and income. And that brings us to the absolutely critical financial angle of this mess. In today's world, endorsement deals aren't just about performance on the field or charisma on camera. They're choked with murky clauses, moral turpitude language so vague it gives brands an escape hatch. The nanosecond controversy trends higher than their product hashtags.
And she says that she alleges that the was brutal, like it was very it was aggressive.
It's a stark reality check. If a beverage company, a car manufacturer, or any major brand senses even the slightest whiff of a PR wildfire around their spokesperson, their legal department doesn't hesitate. They hit the eject button before the first ember even lands. We're already hearing chatter from inside the ad world. Agencies are actively weighing pause orders on the live reads, the sponsored segments that Sharpe anchors week after week. It's like watching a stadium scoreboard suddenly go dark during overtime. You don't know the final score yet? The game isn't officially over, but the revenue? It just flatlines until the lights come back on, if they come back on. A civil filing, remember, doesn't require a criminal conviction. It doesn't require a jury to find guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. In civil court, the standard is preponderance of the evidence. That means a 51% certainty can absolutely write a multi-million-dollar check. 51%. That's the chilling reality of this legal pathway.
Now, this woman is alleging that Shannon Sharpe her multiple times over the course of a 2-year relationship. The relationship that they had was full.
And navigating that pathway means entering a discovery marathon. Everything is on the table. Emails, phone logs, location pings, deleted messages, even emoji strings. In 2025, digital breadcrumbs aren't just clues. They often define whether a claim has teeth or evaporates into thin air. Both sides will be digging relentlessly, searching for that one piece of digital evidence that could make or break the case. Imagine the tension as every old text, every casual phone call, every private location ping suddenly becomes potential courtroom evidence, scrutinized under the harshest light. Sources are already predicting that both legal teams will petition the court for protective orders, trying to seal off the most potentially salacious texts or private communications to prevent them from leaking and prejudicing the public narrative. It's a battle for control of information, wanting transparency on one hand, but fearing how raw, decontextualized transcripts could instantly mutate into viral disinformation faster than AI can pump out fake images.
Because at that point, she said that they were in a they were in an actual relationship. They were in Vegas together. So when that happened, she had already kind of been, in this thing where he's verbally abusive, allegedly, but she thought that they were together.
Beyond the legal technicalities and the financial stakes, there's the immense psychological toll. Shannon Sharpe's public persona thrives on confidence, on sharp suits, and even sharper comebacks, backed by what felt like a stadium of online cheerleaders ready to defend him. But now, that very cheer squad is splitting. You've got the die-hard defenders pointing to his philanthropic work, his Hall of Fame legacy, arguing this must be a baseless attack. And then you have the skeptics, already running GIF-based mock trials online, ready to believe the worst. It's a global barbershop debate, same heated arguments, same clippers buzzing, but instead of a dozen guys, you've got billions weighing in, judging, speculating. This public scrutiny, this online fracturing of support, adds another brutal layer to the pressure cooker he's now in.
She ever does that again, but the part of it, she says that she was allegedly anally twice and that it was very, very brutal.
Consider the potential outcomes, each one fraught with complications. If a settlement is reached quickly, whispers of hush money will instantly circulate among critics. Fans might claim vindication, interpreting the settlement as a desire to end a baseless fight, but brands? They'll still hesitate, waiting for the ink to dry, for the controversy to truly fade. If the case drags on and these civil cases can crawl, deposition leaks become inevitable, they trickle into gossip columns recasting every old tweet, every past story, every casual comment under a sinister new backlight. The public narrative gets rewritten daily based on partial information. And if Sharpe decides to countersue for defamation, the legal battle explodes into an even bigger, more expensive war, a six-figure open bar party for the attorneys involved. Public attention gets whipped back and forth, ping-ponging between official court filings and meme parodies. It's a system where the spectacle can easily overshadow the search for truth.
She says that she was allegedly anally twice and that it was very, very brutal. She alleges the last incident happened January 2025.
And what about his employer, the network where he's a prominent voice? Speculation is rampant that network executives are holding midnight Zoom calls, frantically parsing sponsor sentiment graphs, watching red flags spike beside Sharpe's name on spreadsheets like stock market crash arrows. The prediction circulating is temporary benching, perhaps shifting him away from the main desk, maybe into podcast purgatory, a kind of holding pattern, until the early stages of discovery offer some clarity, showing daylight or confirming impending doom. It's a cold business calculation. Protect the brand, protect the advertising dollars, even if it means sidelining a superstar.
The fact that if this is true, right, why would she go grab Tony Busby as a lawyer?
Yeah,
Even within the media world covering this, there's a moment of reflection. Radio hosts, commentators, we become narrative accelerants. If we mislabel allegations as verdicts, if we present speculation as fact, entire cities can form opinions before a judge even bangs a gavel. It's a stark reminder for everyone in media, from morning DJs to late-night hosts. The word alleged isn't just decorative punctuation, it's a mandatory seatbelt. It's crucial to differentiate between a claim made in a lawsuit and a fact proven in court.
I reached out to Attorney Busby and I asked him, first of all, did this happen? Did you guys file this because of that $100 million podcast negotiation conversation? And he said they've been in contact with Shannon Sharpe's counsel since February, long before any announcement.
We've seen this play out before. There was a heavyweight lawsuit in 2019 involving a retired coach whose brand absolutely imploded overnight based on allegations. He later prevailed in arbitration. He won, but by then it was too late. The endorsements were gone, snapped up by rivals. That's the brutal timeline risk of the digital age. By the time the truth, the corrected storyline, finally emerges years later, digital memory has often fossilized the first damaging headline. The initial accusation, no matter how flimsy it proves to be, lives forever online, easily discoverable, constantly resurfacing.
So then I said to him, well, they're also saying in Shannon Sharpe's statement that there's a video that has been altered to make it look like their or whatever is non-consensual when it's actually consensual if you show the full video.
Let's talk about that $50 million figure again, because it's not just a number, it's a strategic weapon. The plaintiff's valuation math behind it is designed to do multiple things simultaneously. Attach a figure so high, it terrifies insurers into pushing for a settlement, entice star journalists to cover the case intensely, and demonstrate the plaintiff's unwavering seriousness. But that sticker shock can also galvanize Sharpe's incredibly loyal fan base. It can spark online campaigns, maybe even GoFundMes, rallying cries proclaiming that a $50 million demand must mean the claims are pure fiction. Yet, legal experts point out that these inflated damage claims often shrink dramatically during mediation or later stages of the case. But those downgrades? They rarely make headlines with the same force as the initial shocking number. The public is left with the anchor figure, not the adjusted reality.
Tony Busby said to me, he is a liar. He never even actually saw it. It wasn't even referenced or referred to in the case we filed. But now that his lawyer has breached the mediation agreement that Mr. Sharpe's counsel insisted upon, it should be known that there is indeed a video.
Stepping back, there's a larger cultural theme at play, especially relevant in how Black male celebrities are often scrutinized. Historically, negative tropes can magnify controversies involving them. Sharpe's Southern drawl, once celebrated as part of his authentic, relatable persona, could potentially be reframed by online haters, weaponized as evidence of some underlying, unrefined snark beneath his public discourse. It's a reminder to look for bias, to demand equitable scrutiny frameworks regardless of a person's background. The way these controversies are framed and consumed varies wildly across different platforms and demographics.
So then I said, well, wait, y'all mediated? Because that means that
this shit been going on. Like, he been doing all this.
Been wanting to, like, there was possibly a settlement. Like, there's been conversations, right? Like, y'all didn't come out of nowhere.
Look at younger audiences on platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels. Complex discussions, nuanced legal situations are instantly sliced into 15-second clips. Headlines like Charlamagne exposes Shannon, referencing the radio host's discussion of the allegations, simplify and often distort the reality. Clip culture can turn nuance into rhetorical Swiss cheese, leaving viewers chewing on holes, the dramatic sound bites, the shocking numbers, rather than the actual substance of the case. It creates echo chambers where simplified, often misleading narratives spread like wildfire, shaping public opinion long before the legal process can even begin to unfold.
This is not a criminal case. So there is no concern about him going to jail.
This situation forces a reevaluation of everything, even things like character testimonials. A former NFL strength coach publicly defending Sharpe, saying he runs wind sprints of honesty, is powerful and persuasive. It contributes important shading to the public portrait being formed. But even the most heartfelt character references will inevitably battle any potentially damning documentary evidence that discovery might unearth. It's a fight between reputation built over decades and potential proof found in a digital trail.
I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person.
The economic implications extend even to Sharpe's independent ventures. A prolonged legal fight could decouple his highly successful podcast ad revenue from his legacy network earnings. Big box sponsors crave family-friendly assurance. They might ghost instantly, but CBD oil brands or NFT startups chasing edgier demographics, they might stick around, maybe even see the controversy as a way to reach risk-tolerant audiences. You could see a sponsor shuffle, with risk-averse giants fleeing, creating a vacuum potentially filled by brands willing to court controversy for engagement.
This is a civil case, which means that he could either be found liable or not liable.
It's a crisis turning into a carnival. There's even grim humor in it, with talk of sports betting apps potentially placing prop bets on whether Sharpe will speak publicly by the Super Bowl. While monetizing legal peril is deeply questionable, it highlights the public appetite for spectacle. And for fans deeply connected to their idols, this kind of public disgrace can have real-world consequences, causing anxiety, what researchers call parasocial fallout. Living vicariously through a celebrity shouldn't feel like weathering a hurricane without shelter.
The accuser in question is seeking $50 million. That was confirmed by Shannon Sharpe on that video today.
Looking ahead, the legal timeline is marked by milestones. Preliminary disclosures due in 30 days, motion practice within 60, depositions potentially 6 months out. Each of these deadlines is a potential shockwave. Leaks at any stage can create new crises, forcing brand strategists to rewrite plans weekly. There's even the possibility Sharpe could pivot his career entirely if sidelined, maybe leveraging his platform for athlete rights advocacy, demanding clearer league conduct codes, following the path of retired legends who became powerful lobbyists.
According to some audio that was put out earlier today by attorney Busby.
But the most important lessons here are systemic, lessons for all of us consuming this kind of drama. Audiences need to cultivate patience. Journalists need to double-check facts, constantly correcting the record. Sponsors need to weigh principle alongside profit, making decisions that aren't solely driven by fear of a Twitter trend. And those caught in the crossfire, like Sharpe, must respect both the legal courtroom and the public courtroom without ever confusing the two.
Knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense.
This situation is bigger than just one celebrity's misfortune. It's a referendum on how modern society arbitrates guilt, risk, and redemption in the age of perpetual connectivity. Your social media feed will reload 100 times before this case even hits its significant discovery phases. Maybe spend some of those reloads looking for actual court filings or reliable reporting instead of just chasing the most dramatic headlines. The pivot from legend to litigation is perilous, and this case is a stark reminder of how careful we all must be not to trade truth for retweets on that treacherous path. This story is far from over, and we'll be here to break it down as it unfolds.